Coming up on the British TV watch list.
Sullivan stopped being an adversary. He became a man in love, and that adversarial edge went soft.
From cozy mysteries to intense police procedurals, we talk about the characters, performances, series, and episodes from your favourite British TV shows.
Hello there, welcome to the British TV watch list. Let me ask you something. When did Father Brown stop being about people? Because that's what I really want to talk about today. Not the murders, the plots, the people. The ones who made Kembleford feel real. The ones who gave the show its heartbeat. And what happened when the show started losing them? Father Brown has been on the BBC since 2013. 13 seasons in. More than 140 episodes. I watch it on BritBox. Mark Williams has played that gentle, sharp-eyed priest from day one. The show is set in Kembleford, a fictional village in the Cotswolds. It's quiet, charming, and somehow the busiest crime scene in 1950s England. I say that with all the love in my heart. Here's how the early show worked. Life was happening in Kembleford. People were going about their day. The baker was baking. The vicar was visiting. The local busybody was being a local busybody. And then a body turned up. The crime interrupted the life. That's the formula. And it worked because you cared about the life first. The murder was the thing that shook everything up. The people were the point. Somewhere along the way, that flipped. Now, the episode is built around the crime. The people of Kembleford are there to serve the plot. And when that happens, the show loses what made it special. Maybe lost what made it special. You're watching a puzzle get solved. You're not watching a community deal with something terrible happening in its midst. That's the difference. And it's a big one, I think. So let's talk about the people, because that's where this story lives. Think about what the early show actually gave you. Before the murder, you had a scene. Father Brown talking to someone in the village, Mrs. McCarthy interfering in something she had no business interfering in, Sid fixing a car and getting into trouble, Bunty breezing in with a theory that was half wrong and half interesting. These scenes weren't filler. They were the show. They told you who these people were. So when the crime hit, you understood what it meant to them specifically. You weren't watching anonymous villagers. You were watching people you knew. That's the formula that worked. And it's probably harder to pull off than it sounds. You have to trust the audience, us, will sit still for the people stuff. You have to believe that the character moments are worth more than rushing to the next clue. The early Father Brown had that trust. The recent seasons felt like they lost it. Mrs. McCarthy, let's take a look at her, played by Saoirse Cusack. She was the parish secretary for the first 9 seasons. Nosy, bossy, opinionated, absolutely impossible to manage, and completely essential. She had opinions about everything and everyone. She stuck her nose in where it didn't belong and somehow made it her business. She drove Father Brown crazy. She drove the police crazy. She drove me crazy watching her, and I loved every second of it because she was real. You knew someone like her. Maybe you were a little afraid of someone like her. She gave Kembleford texture. When she was in a scene, you felt the weight of the community behind her. Then there was Inspector Mallory.
Ah, Padre, come to give spiritual guidance to our resident murderer.
How can you be sure Deepak Chatterjee was the killer?
It is quite literally an open and shut case. There were 3 sets of fingerprints found on the trunk, belonging to Goodfellow, the porter, and Deepak Chatterjee.
Jack Dean played him from season 4 through season 9. He called Father Brown Padre, like it was an insult he'd been saving up for all week. He was wrong about almost everything and absolutely sure he was right. Cartoonish, maybe, at times, but he had grit. He had personality. He had edges that you could feel. You knew exactly who he was the moment he walked in the door. And here's what matters most about Mallory. That tension, the constant push and pull between priest and the police. Father Brown always one step ahead. The inspector never quite willing to admit it. That dynamic had real energy. It gave the mysteries a second layer. It wasn't just about finding the killer. It was about watching Father Brown outmaneuvering the police. The police represented authority. Father Brown represented something older and quieter. That friction is what made the solving interesting. Lose that tension, and you lose something the show was built on. The mystery is less fun when there's nobody pushing back. We love mysteries, cozy or dramatic, but not when it comes to clothing. There's no mystery with Pins and Aces. They sell golf apparel and gear, nice-looking clothes for golfers and for you if you just like good clothing. Everyone likes a premium, lightweight, stretchy polo. Golfers love Pins and Aces. The clothes allow for that upper body movement, that swing of the club. And right now, you can get up to 30% off when you use my promo code BTVW1 at pinsandaces.com. I get a small commission, and you get a great deal at pinsandaces.com. Just enter BTVW1 when you check out. Sid Carter, played by Alex Price, the handyman, the driver, the one with the slightly sketchy past and the quick grin. He walked a line. You weren't always sure which side he was on, but he was likable. He had an edge that kept things interesting. He brought a street-level energy into the show. He was the one character who existed outside the comfortable world of the village. He had seen things. He'd done things. And he chose to use that to help Father Brown when it mattered. That kind of character is hard to write and easy to underestimate. He wasn't just comic relief, and he wasn't just muscle. He was the show's connection to us everyday people. When Sid left, a real gap opened up, and nobody filled it. The show has never replaced that particular energy. Someone with a foot in both worlds, someone you weren't quite sure you could trust, but you wanted to anyway. Bunty Windermere, played by Emir Kenny. Posh, young, a little naive, but fun to have around. She brought energy into scenes that balanced out the older, heavier characters. She was out of her depth sometimes, and she knew it. That awareness, though, made her charming rather than annoying. She was learning, and you were watching her learn. And then, Lady Felicia, played by Nancy Carroll.
You don't love me.
Don't I?
You say you wish to turn your back on crime, but I'm just a prize. A trophy to be taken from under the nose of another man.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
When she shows up, the temperature in the room changes. Uppity, flirty, a little naughty. She moved through Kembleford like she owned the place. I guess you could say she kind of did. She was the kind of character who could change a scene just by walking into it, because the Lady Felicia character had that much presence. Every time she came back as a guest, it felt like the show remembered who it was for a little while. All of these characters had something in common. They had substance. You could describe them in 3 words, and those 3 words meant something. Mrs. McCarthy, nosy, bossy, essential. Sid, charming, edgy, unpredictable. Bunty, young, posh, fun. Lady Felicia, uppity, naughty, magnetic. Now, try that with the newer characters. Brenda Palmer, played by Ruby Mae Martinwood. Brenda is the housekeeper. She's around, she does things, she's there. I've tried to find the right word for what Brenda brings to a scene, and I kept coming back to the same answer, which was nothing. She doesn't irritate you, she doesn't charm you, she doesn't make you feel anything in particular. She follows Father Brown around like a lost puppy and gets in the way. And in a show that runs on the energy of its supporting cast, that's a real problem. A character doesn't have to be likable to be successful. Mrs. McCarthy wasn't always likable. Mallory was not always likable, but they made you feel something. That's the job. Brenda doesn't do that yet. Mrs. Devine, Claudie Blackley plays her. Isabel Devine is the widow who loves a mystery. She became the parish secretary, and she got a romance with Chief Inspector Sullivan. Lovely idea on paper. Here's the problem. The romance took over. It became the story for 2 full seasons, and it did 2 things to the show. First, it made Isabel's whole character about the relationship. She was defined by it. Second, this is probably the bigger loss, it removed the tension between Father Brown and the police. Sullivan stopped being an adversary. He became a man in love, and that adversarial edge went soft. And the mystery of every episode got a little less interesting as a result. So here's where we are. The early show gave us characters who interrupted the crime. Now the crime has swallowed the characters. If you're going to swallow up anything, let it be the new colors at CozyEarth.com. New bedding and bath colors for your home in soft, smooth, luxurious materials that enhance softness. The secret? Bamboo. Check it out for yourself. Those new colors are for a limited time only. And I thank you in advance because we get a small commission when you check out at CozyEarth.com. Just enter our promo code BTVW1. You'll get up to 30% off at CozyEarth.com. Now the good news. Season 14 of Father Brown is filming now. Season 15 is already confirmed. Some cast changes are on the way. No spoilers here. And the description for the new series puts Father Brown back in Kembleford, back with the full village around him. Lady Felicia is coming back too. If anyone can remind this show what it used to feel like, it's her. She brings an attitude and a lightness that the recent series has been missing. Mark Williams is still there. Can there be any other Father Brown at this point? He carries the show. He is the show. He's patient and perceptive, a little amused by everything around him. He notices what people reveal when they think nobody's paying attention. That's the character Father Brown. Give Father Brown people worth caring about. Let the crime interrupt the life instead of replacing it. Let Kembleford breathe again. Let me know what you think in the comments. Tell me how can they improve Father Brown? What do you think? And before we go, I want to say hello to our listeners in Anaheim, California, USA, home of Disneyland, Greenbelt, Maryland, and Maringa, Brazil. Every time I look, every day, just about every day, there's a new city. Let me know where you are, where you're listening from. And if you'd like to support this podcast, check out our Patreon site. Even just one supporter can make all the difference. Will you be the one this month? You can also support us by shopping at CozyEarth.com and pinsandaces.com. Use our promo code BTVW1 to get up to 30% off when you check out. That's it for now. Thanks for listening to the British TV Watch List. Till next time, cheers!
The British TV Watch List is written and produced by Michael T. in Honolulu, Hawaii. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. All rights reserved. Copyright 2026. Michael T. Media.